Thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Breaking news this afternoon, another large wildfire broke out in Southern California today amid an extreme red flag warning. The flames surrounded the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library at one point, and people there were told to shelter in place. Whitney Ward joins us in the studio with an update on where that fire stands now. Whitney?
Good afternoon, Mark. Yeah, so there are now 3 major wildfires that are burning in California as of right now. So we have the Getty fire, which is here near LA. We also have that one that is the Kincaid fire. That one has already burned. This is up in wine country. It's already burned thousands of acres in Sonoma County. And then the brand new one is the Easy fire. That's the one that just broke out today. It was threatening the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. So this is a live look now at the area as crews are battling the Easy fire. You can see they've been making retardant drops pretty much all afternoon. They've been hitting these golf courses. This would normally, of course, be a very busy freeway, and now not many cars at all. And as they were trying to save the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, we learned that the flames came within 50 feet of those buildings. Most of the employees had tried to evacuate. A few did stay there to help fight against the fire, and with the help of firefighters all around the building, they were able to save the building. However, tonight we have learned the grounds are still susceptible to fire. So it's pretty incredible as you look at the video. The Easy fire started just before dawn today. It immediately jumped freeways and was threatening nearly 7,000 homes and buildings, including the Presidential Library. Rescuers even grabbed goats and brought them to safety. Those goats, by the way, brought in every year to try to eat away all the brush that could help fuel wildfires just like that one. Pretty much all of Southern California is under an extreme red flag warning right now.
I've lived here all my life, and we've always had the winds, but never these fires. And I see how I'm reacting, and I can't imagine if it was my home or my children.
In Northern California, the Kincaid fire is now 15% contained. It's burned more than 76,000 acres just since it started 1 week ago. Crews do believe that it was a branch falling on a power line that caused the Getty fire in LA. Fortunately, that one has finally been reduced to hotspots, but of course, we know those hotspots could easily flare up anywhere in California as those winds start blowing again. By the way, it hasn't rained in Simi Valley for 125 days. Mark?
My goodness, Whitney, thank you very much. More breaking news now. A top advisor to President Donald Trump on Russia and Europe just resigned on the eve of his testimony in the House's impeachment probe. Morrison was set to face lawmakers tomorrow morning. He was one of the officials listening in on the president's July phone call with the president of Ukraine. Students at public schools in Battleground in Southwest Washington are no longer required to take sex ed classes. This decision came after the board voted to still offer the classes but not require students to take them. We want to hear from you. Head to KREM.com/vote and let us know. Do you think Washington schools should be required to teach sex ed? Shayna Waltower spoke with local district leaders on if schools in our area could be dropping that requirement.
Yeah, yesterday's decision from the Battleground School District sparked quite the conversation on our Facebook page. Here you can see a couple of those comments from where well over 150 of you posted your opinions. Here we have some of those yes comments here saying that yes, it should be taught in schools. It absolutely should be a requirement. And yeah, this is a part of life, this education here in these schools. But now we're transitioning over to some of the people of you that are saying no, it shouldn't really be required. They're saying, no, that's the parents' job where it should be taught at home, and it's not the school's job to educate children about sex. So I reached out to a couple of our local districts to see if these requirements still stand. I heard back from Spokane and Central Valley. Now, Spokane School District spokesperson Brian Coddington says that these classes are still required in all the public schools in Spokane. He says there's no plan or consideration to change any of that anytime soon. But he did say that the district has been working on updating its curriculums across all of the schools. He says these will include recommendations from a committee of local parents and staff. Now, these teams meet monthly to make sure that the info in these classes is up to date and fitting for each grade level. Now, instead of sex ed, Spokane Public Schools calls these classes human growth and development classes. They start in kindergarten and cover topics like building friendly relationships and communicating politely. And then by middle school and high school, they've progressed into more of that in-depth material that these classes typically cover. Now, there is the option for all parents at the beginning of the year to opt out for their students if they want to not have them take that class. Now, moving on to the Central Valley School District, I spoke with spokesperson Marla Nunberg. She says that these classes are still required in all of the schools in the district. Of course, parents can still decide to opt out if they want at the beginning of the year for their students, and there haven't been any recent updates to their curriculums. Now, for schools statewide, Washington only requires all public schools to at least teach HIV and AIDS prevention. The rest of the material is left up to each school district. In studio, Shayna Waltower, KREM 2 News.
And at the start of that story, we asked you, do you think that schools should be required to teach sex ed? Right now, 59% of you are saying yes, another 40% or so saying no. In other news, she was only known as Fly Creek Jane Doe for decades. This week, she has her name back. Detectives revealed the woman whose remains were found in a rural Clark County dumping area back in 1980 is Sandra Morden. She was born in 1962, and investigators believe she was killed sometime in the late 1970s. Over the years, investigators made facial reconstructions but weren't able to ID the remains. A DNA company made trait predictions to come up with this profile of what she may have looked like. They used what's called genetic genealogy, sent a DNA profile to a public database, and they found family members.
We feel it's incredibly important for everyone to get their name back. You know, everyone deserves to be buried with an identity, and all families deserve resolution and some type of closure.
Detectives believe Sandy was in and out of foster care, but don't know where she was living when she went missing. This case is still unsolved, and investigators don't know how Sandy died or who killed her.
You're continuing to work and make $30 million a year after this horrific 2 accidents that caused all these people's relatives to go, to disappear, to die.
Well, Congressman Steve Cohen and Boeing CEO Dennis Muhlenberg got into a heated exchange today. At his second hearing this week on Capitol Hill, Muhlenberg was asked why he's not taking a pay cut after 2 deadly crashes. He replied that it's up to the company's board of directors to decide, but the Tennessee congressman was not satisfied with that answer.
Congressman, it's not about the money for me. That's not why I came.
Are you giving up any money?
Congressman, my board will conduct a comprehensive review.
So you're saying you're not giving up any compensation at all. You're continuing to work and make $30 million a year.
Admitted that he knew about the safety concerns of that aircraft after the hearing. Muhlenberg met with victims, their families for the first time. Police are still searching for the people responsible for killing 3 people and injuring 9 others last night in a Long Beach, California shooting. Multiple shell casings were found behind a home in that area where a Halloween party was being held. Newly released court documents named the Spokane police officer who was under investigation for sexual assault during a domestic dispute investigation. Those court documents released today shed light on the details of the allegations. The victim alleges that the officer assaulted her while he was supposed to be gathering evidence for a domestic dispute investigation. The latest on that case is coming up on KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. All right, for the second day in a row, our high temperatures did not even make it out of the 30s, and it looks like the cold temperatures will stick around into tomorrow for trick-or-treating. Meteorologist Michelle Boss standing in the Weather Center tonight with an update on those chilly temperatures. Michelle?
That's right. We didn't make it out of the 30s again today, but we're seeing slight improvements, a very gradual warming trend. Even though temperatures started off very chilly this morning in the teens and in some places single digits. Lows this morning turned out like this. Spokane dropped down to 17 degrees, so we were a degree warmer than yesterday morning. Coeur d'Alene down to 12, Grangeville in the single digits again, and down to the mid and low teens from Moses Lake into Sandpoint. So take a look right now. We are above freezing, so that's one positive step there. 38 degrees in Spokane, above freezing in Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, mid 30s and into the lower 40s in Omak, Moses Lake, and right at 40 degrees in Lewiston. We did get to enjoy another day full of sunshine, though. Satellite and radar showing dry conditions across the inland northwest. As we look at the trick-or-treating forecast, again, it is going to be a chilly one, though we will see that gradual warming trend continue into tomorrow. If you go get your trick-or-treating done before 6 o'clock, I think you're going to get above freezing temperatures, 38 degrees at 5 o'clock, 35 at 6 p.m. But starting in the evening hours, 7 to 9, those temperatures falling below freezing. We're looking at light winds, though, and mostly clear skies for the evening. Here's a look at the next next 12 hours here as we see temperatures falling below freezing by 8 o'clock tonight under mostly clear skies. We'll see partly cloudy skies towards morning and see a few clouds, more clouds than we've seen recently tomorrow. High temperatures should make it up to right around 40 degrees, and then we'll continue to see that warming trend. Friday, mostly sunny, 43, and we could be in the middle to upper 40s by Saturday.
All right, Michelle, thank you very much.